Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming out to support the platform of the Barbados Labour Party. Tonight, this is the first of 3 speeches that I have to give. I intend to give my all to this campaign. And I've come simply to ask you to find it in your heart to allow me to have Margaret Callender as part of the next government of Barbados. Margaret Callender, the simple person with a simple and single desire. She has come to public life to serve. And you know, I remember the Australian cricket captain, Ian Chappell. He was once asked why he got rid of a man, one of the fastest bowlers in the world called Jeff Thompson. And he says, I do not want any prima donnas around me. He said, give me 10 tries and I will beat the world. And tonight I say to you, as I say to Barbados, give me tries. People who have come to serve, and we will beat the world. I have had the opportunity to be able to spend time with this constituency. And I thank you for receiving me. But I have to say something. I feel your pain. The people of Barbados are suffering, really suffering. And it is in districts like this that the suffering is hardest. People are really struggling just simply to make men's ends meet. People now cannot see the future. And I believe in this campaign, the Barbados Labour Party has a duty to you to tell you what we intend to do to restore hope and to give you and your family and your children not just the promise, but the pledge of a better future. And therefore, I have given firm instructions to my candidates that these platforms are not to be used for personal abuse. They are not to be used for a descent into trivia and nonsense. We will tell you what is wrong with the country. We will tell you how we intend to fix it. But I find that this campaign is becoming a very strange campaign. Because today, apparently, Frendel Stewart, and I'm not going to attack him personally, but I find it strange that Frendel Stewart will use an opportunity to speak as the Prime Minister of this country, not to tell the people of the country what his party has done and what they intend to do in their 3rd term, because they've already had the 2nd term. It started on the 15th of January. So you don't have to give him the 2nd term. But attack me because he says I spent a lot of time in Gemmett's Lane at a man called Rudy Gibson, the B-Man. Do you all know Rudy Gibson? Well, you know, Frendel Stewart, you do not get it. Rudy Gibson is a man who a prime minister would not want to descend to attack on the platform. He's an 80-year-old man. He lives in a simple house. He does a lot for Barbados. He has done more for Barbados than the Minister of Agriculture. He keeps the bee industry of this country going. He produces honey. He exports honey. He's 80 years old. He climbs ladders whenever there is a bee hive at a Lara Court, in schools, in public places at 80 years old to save people's lives. Simple house, Gemmett's Lane. I go there and I come under attack from a prime minister for associating with a man like Rudy Gibson. And when they say he doesn't get it, I say that for a large number of reasons. You in Barbados need a prime minister that you can see, that you can touch, and that knows how you can relate to ordinary people. And that is the kind of leadership Barbados wants. And that is the kind of leadership, Frandel, that Barbados has always had. Because I am not the first Prime Minister, Frandel, that spends a lot of time or has spent a lot of time at Rudy Gibson's house. I am only doing what Errol Barrow used to do. Errol Barrow was also Rudy Gibson's friend too. And you, the people of Barbados, need to feel that no matter how big you are in your own mind as a prime minister, that there's nothing wrong with going to a simple wooden house in a simple place like Gemma's Lane and sharing fellowship with an 80-year-old family who are doing so much for Barbados. And it tells you what is wrong with this country and what is wrong with Frandel Stewart and his leadership. When he cannot understand that a Prime Minister of Barbados mustn't just depend upon what comes to him on the files, but you go to the supermarket and find out for yourself. You let people see you on the street corners and tell you the things that matter. And they asked me in Gall Hill, there are two leaders in this contest. Which have you seen up here with you, among you, trying to find out your needs? So it comes down to this. It comes down to this, friend. I'm not going to abuse you, but you do not get it. You do not understand what leading the people of Barbados is about. Leading the people of Barbados is about having a relationship with the ordinary man and the ordinary woman. And I want to say this. Rudy Gibson, who has been under attack, have a daughter and a son-in-law that live in Caneville. They do in this constituency. So tonight I have come to ask for their vote too. Because if a foolish prime minister can be attacking the father, then I simply believe that the children and the in-laws must rise to their test. So the Bradshaws, good night to you. Defend your father. Run out the dams. And perhaps what I should say to you, because I've come to say to you some very serious things. I can talk long. There is a reason why governments should be changed. Governments should be changed when governments fail, and governments should be changed when governments are broken. There is nothing worse than having a government that is broken, trying to lead a serious people. And the Democratic Labour Party is a broken government. The two people who are running in these two constituencies, Mr. Jones and, what's the other fellow's name? No, not around me, darling. Don't do that. Darling, do not do that. No man, I beg you. What the other fellow's name? I forget his name. Oh? I beg pardon? Anyhow, they represent a faction in the Democratic Labour Party that would do anything to get rid of Frandel Stewart. And the question that you in this constituency have to pose and answer for yourself is that if Jones, and what did the other fellow name? Because you all call him Little Hitler. If the two of them, as part of the Eager 11, do not want Frandel Stewart as their leader, but why should you? But why should you? But I can tell you that it is a very, very serious thing when a country is in the kind of problems that Barbados has, to have the kind of divisions that you don't have in the Democratic Labour Party. And today in Gold Hill, I'm not going to tell you that we in the Labour Party doesn't have had issues, you know. We too have had our issues. And in politics, everything is not always perfect. But we have faced our issues and have fixed our issues and can come to you as a united, serious party with the intention of giving you, the people of Gold Hill and Barbados, the kind of focus, discipline, leadership that this country needs at this time. And you are even saying it in the kind of campaign that we are running. Prepared, focused, and ready. And you know, this campaign is exposing, and the last 5 years has exposed once again a fundamental division between the two parties. There is a Barbados Labour Party way, and there's a Democratic Labour Party way. The Democratic Labour Party people, as represented by Lashley and Jones, feel that because the Democratic Labour Party was the party that led this country into independence, that Barbados belongs to them. And that you will notice that the Democratic Labour Party people, especially Lashley, they have an attitude. They don't believe that they are your servant. They believe that they can do anything and get away with it. And that you have seen it in the arrogant behavior with which Stephen Lashley has related to this constituency. So Stephen Lashley does not believe that he has come to serve. Stephen Lashley believes that he is your master. And the same thing with Jones. Jones has an attitude that he can say anything. I have a 13-year-old daughter. And I heard Jones refer to the children in schools in terms that, as a father, I felt like going to beat him for, because he insulted my daughter. But that is the mindset of the Democratic Labour Party. They feel that they can do anything and get away with it. The Labour Party, however, we did not lead this country into independence. We don't feel that Barbados belongs to us. We feel that we have to even sometimes overperform to merit and to justify your confidence. So that when the Democratic Labour Party is in office, you get wage cuts. You get wage freezes. They're not interested in managing the economy. But when we are in office, we do things like reducing unemployment to 6%. Putting money in your pockets. Because we don't feel that we own this country. We feel that we have to fight to deserve your vote. And in this election, I have to ask you, can you be satisfied with what the Democratic Labour Party has done to this country? Would you accept that of a Barbados Labour Party? Well, you move us from office with unemployment at 6%, with prices stable, with the economy growing. How can you justify a vote for the Democratic Labour Party with what has happened to this country? Now, there are a few things I need to say to this constituency. There are some things that we were to do in this constituency that we did not do as well as we should have. That center over there, when we became the government, was an old building. And we had a dream of converting it into a place where people could play their trades, but there should have been a cultural center at the top. That has not happened. It must be what it was intended to be. And I am telling you that I met with Margot's team, and I've told them very clearly that that center must fulfill the promise for which it was intended. I also know that the people of this district have for long been greatly concerned that where Gall Hill was built used to be a playing area, and that a right thing has not yet been done to restore a proper playing facility for football in this constituency. Well, tonight I want to say this, that I would like, as the Prime Minister, to be my own Minister of Sports. See, will actually hear what I said? That as a Prime Minister, I would like to be my own Minister of Sports and bring sports into the Prime Minister's office. And I want to say that because I also want to say that it's not only about Gall Hill. One of the ways in which we must make a better tomorrow is building an economy for the young. Not building an economy and hoping that young people can fit into it, but finding out what it is that young people want to do and create opportunities for them to do them. And sports and building a professional approach to sports in this country is one of the missing elements in the development of Barbados. Barbados now finds itself in football. And Ronald Jones, you should be shamed. And Stephen Lashley, you should be shamed. But places like Antigua and all the other Caribbean countries, football is rising. You have young people in Jamaica who can look forward to making a good living from becoming professional sportsmen as footballers. What is happening to us? Our cricket now is not what it used to be. And Mayor Motley has shown that we must start in Barbados to begin to give young people the option of being able to have sports as a profession from which they make a good living. And in Gall Hill and in this constituency, we need to put wrong things right in relation to giving you sporting facilities that would enable you and your young people to be able to look to make a good living from sports. And I pledge to you that it shall happen. But more to the point, one of the last things that the Barbados Labour Party government did in 2007 was to prepare something called a Cultural Industries and Creative Industries Bill. Because we also believe that in addition to sports, young people in Barbados have creative imaginations, and like young people all over the world, that they can make a good living from selling their cultural skills, selling their entertainment skills, and also doing creative things that is not possible through the internet and whatever else. And could you believe that the Democratic Labour Party has sat on a cultural industries and creative economy bill for 5 years? For 5 years. And other young people are anxious, like the rest of the world, to be able to make a decent living from selling their entertainment skills and selling their skills that come from their creative imagination. And that Stephen Lashley, as the minister responsible for culture, has sat on a bill that could open new opportunities for development for young people for 5 years and have done not one thing about it. Now, look, I am not going to come to these platforms just only to criticize. I've come perhaps to start telling what it is on manifesto in advance. The Barbados Labour Party created a sports and cultural fund, and every year sporting organizations now get about $13 million from that fund. We will commit ourselves in our manifesto that the amount of money that can go to sporting organizations, because what we do is the tax from lotteries, we allow the sporting organizations to get from a cultural fund. They get $30 million from it. that amount should move from $13 to $25 million to allow sporting organizations to be able now to begin to offer professional contracts to young people in Barbados in sports. And I also want to say tonight that the time has come where if sportsmen earn foreign exchange for Barbados, if people in the cultural industries and entertainers earn foreign exchange for Barbados, if people who are selling their skills through the internet, designing software and all these other things earn foreign exchange for Barbados, that they should pay tax at the same rate as international business companies at 1.5%. And that we feel that there can be a great new future for young people in this country if we now treat those opportunities that are there as opportunities that young people can grasp, but give them the reward for using their talents to help us to carry forward this country. And you know, when I look back over the last 5 years, the last 5 years has been an age of missed opportunity. Things do not have to be this hard in Barbados. Last night in Bay Street, I indicated that Mauritius is getting on, growing fast, facing the same conditions as us. Singapore is getting on, growing fast. Malta is getting on, growing fast. Costa Rica, another small country, is getting on, growing fast. Even Guyana, that we used to laugh at, getting on, growing fast. Because there is a willingness on the part of people leading those countries not to keep crying about how bad the world is, but to grasp the opportunities and make things better for their people. And the last 5 years, a cultural industry bill being allowed to languish, or sports being allowed to go to the doldrums, tell you that this Democratic Labour Party on matters that are important to the country and to our young people do not have a clue. So I have other meetings to attend to. We are coming to these platforms not to abuse anybody, but to face reality. We need to save Barbados. We need to help Barbados. We want you to help us to rescue, save, and redevelop Barbados. And the only way that you can do that is on the 21st of February. Fire Frondel. Fire Lashley. Give me Margot, and I will do the job. Good night, and God bless each and every one of you.